Hello, darlings. Thank you for tuning in to Living Out Loud with Loretta, the podcast. I'm your host, Loretta Nkwacha. Now, like many of you, I'm a parent, I have friends, a life partner, I work in my home, I work outside my home, I have a social life. Well, I try to. It's hard to balance all of this and fit in some me time without feeling guilty. It's hard, but not impossible. Each week, listen to parents from all walks of life as they share their stories of the pursuit of equilibrium, that beautiful thing we call balance. And just for fun, I'll end each episode with something that helps me maintain some balance, a live performance of songs that bring me joy. If you love music too, then that's another thing we have in common. So make a request in the comments below and we can enjoy the song together on a future episode, all while listening and learning what my guests have figured out. A balancing act that works for them so that they can still live their life out loud. Welcome everybody to another edition of Living Out Loud with Loretta. Tonight, my guest, yes, he fits all of the requirements, parent, balancing act, blah, blah, blah. But it's a very personal thing to me because he was just recently introduced into my life. He's an entrepreneur. He's a health fanatic. His story is fantastic, fabulous, inspiring, and he is the nicest human I think many of us will meet. I introduce you to someone many people call Six. I'm calling you Six. I would love it if you can tell my audience exactly who you are and why the name Six.
My name is Ron Montgomery. I call myself Six because my friends are lazy. Here's why, because I'm 6'10", and so my friends just dropped the 10 off, so they just call me Six, so it's stuck. So blame them. It's not me. Blame my friends. They're lazy.
Okay, I love it. Your friend's laziness has actually helped somehow because you are the king of basically healthy juices here on Long Island. Is that right?
You said it. I didn't.
I did. From my lips to God's ears, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you are a juicing. Basically, you are trying to take over the whole of Long Island and beyond with your healthy fruit juices. Please, first and foremost, the sort of seeing you and reading articles about you, it's fantastic to be able to connect you with healthy fruit juices. I love that. It's not a liquor thing. It's not a whatever. It's something very healthy that all of us should be into. But please tell my audience exactly how you even got into this.
My mom, she battled stage 4 breast cancer. She came home one day, told me, actually called me, I don't live with her, but she told me that the doctor said that she was losing a lot of nutrients, her vitamin levels were low. So I said, okay, what can I do? Thought about it, still didn't know what to do. For some reason, juicing came across my mind. Like, I'm gonna make you juices. Called her back. I was like, I'm gonna make you juices. My mom's like, what? My mom is a Southern woman. She doesn't know anything about no juicing or protein shakes. She's, you know. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make you juices. She's like, all right, whatever, boy. So went, got a juicer. It was like $40. I think, yeah, my first one was from Target. I believe it was like $40. Went and got it, sat in my kitchen, and didn't do anything with it. So then, like a week and a half later, wifey was there in the morning time and my friend Jackie. And so what happened was I had all these fruits. I'm like, I'll make you guys a juice. They're like, all right, whatever. So I made them a juice. Wifey was like, nah, this is bad. She's like, this is not good. Don't do this. This is not good. And so my friend Jackie, being my friend, she's like, well, it could be better. So she gave me hope. And so me and her laugh now, me and Jackie laugh now, because when I get my first mega yacht, I'm going to name it It Could Be Better, because that's where it kind of all started. So, so like we tease each other. Like she'll call me and she'll be like, "Oh, like she's having life problems." I'm like, "Well, it could be better." So, but no, I started from there. I knew nothing about juicing. I couldn't tell you a Jamba Juice from orange juice. I knew nothing about fruits. I kind of figured it out. I went to Google University and I did a lot of Googling and a lot of, you know, just trial and error. But my purpose was to help my mother. So that's what helped keep me focused.
And please tell me, I mean, I've read already, but your mother was able to beat stage 4 cancer, right?
Yeah.
And another illness as well, something else, right?
Yeah, she just beat COVID. She had it the worst. So my mom's, I'll tell you a quick funny story. I don't think I told this. So one day she calls me. My sister called me like 1 a.m. She's like, "Mommy's not feeling good. Says her heart hurts." So I rush over to the house. Paramedics is there. She's like, "Oh, I had a heart attack." I'm like, "You sure?" They was like, "Yeah, we kind of think she did." So I was like, "All right, you going to the hospital?" She's like, "I'm going to the hospital." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "I don't like it there." I'm like, "But you had a heart attack." Because when I get mad, I call her woman. I'm like, "Woman, you had a heart attack." She's like, "I'm not going. I'll go tomorrow, go see my doctor." So I'm like, "All right, whatever." So I slept on the couch because I couldn't go back home. So the morning time we take her to her doctor, a heart specialist, and he was like, "Yeah, you had a heart attack. You're going to the hospital now." She's like, "No, I'm gonna go home first." He's like, "No, the ambulance is already on the way. You're going to the hospital." So long story short, she goes to the hospital. Specialist comes in. There's like she's going into surgery. Goes into surgery. She has to get stents put in, which we didn't know at the time. So it takes a while. Doctor comes out, like, "Listen, whatever God she prays to, thank them because technically she should have died last night because her main artery, which they call the widowmaker, was blocked 99.9%. So he was like, "I don't even know how I got the stent in there." He said, "But she's good. She's going home and she's alive." So, yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I love that though. He said, whatever God she prays to, I'm taking it that she is a spiritual woman and you are a spiritual person, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I tell people, my mom is a strong Black woman. She's a real superhero. I was like, you raised, grew up in the South. That didn't kill you. You had COVID, you had heart attacks, you had, she broke her back. I said, "You've done so many things. And the one thing that gets you weak is your kids." She's
So it's
doing
just
well,
it's the two of you, you and your sister?
and my brother.
And your brother, so 3 of you. And are all 3 of you really tall, like 6 feet or above?
No. So, well, yeah, because my sister's 5'10", and I'm 5'9", and my brother is 6'6".
Wow. And is your mother tall?
Yeah, she's 5'10".
Okay, that's tall. And your father, is he in your life? Was he in
Six.
your life?
Yeah. I saw him today too. I had them both with me today. He's 6'3". Yeah,
Okay.
6'3".
Okay, so it's a big family. So you could all be called 6, really, right? Almost,
No,
right?
no, I have to charge them. No, they can't. No, I own that name. I have to charge them.
I love
Come
it.
with your own names.
Okay, so hold on. So I love the fact that you're let's get to the juices now because this is why I have you here because I love, first of all, what I read about you is, that you're so willing to help, Long Island in general and just kind of give it this great name and being, one of the sort of very few Black entrepreneurs, and you're doing something, you're in the health and fitness industry, basically. I love the fact that you started off $40 juicer, didn't know what to do with it, didn't make any juices or whatever, and then tried it with your friend Jackie. Is like, yeah, it could be better. Okay, that motivated you. So you then sold your first juices, is that right, in your friend's gym or something, or your friend was
Yeah,
right?
I kind of came up with my most famous flavor at his gym. So he was like, "Listen, come down, set up, sell your juices." It wasn't the right crowd, so that was significant in me becoming kind of who I was, in the sense being on the business side. So I had some. I sold some juices. Um, it was okay, but his son asked me to make him a juice. So I had some leftover kale, some pineapple, some lemon. So I made him a very simple drink. Son went crazy over it. Went and told his dad, told his sister. His sister was like, "Oh, I want one too." Cool. Then there was some other kids there. Next thing I know, I have a line of kids with parents that wanted this one particular flavor. So I sold out. So that told me a couple of things. One, the flavor was good, and to keep it simple. And another thing was I used it later on because I didn't have the money to do the professional taste testing, like professionally, like, oh, let's. So what I did was I gave a lot of my juices to my friends and family who had kids. So kids have chosen all my flavors.
Oof.
They're the most
This,
honest.
you see, this really resonates with me. When I saw, like, when we first were introduced by, on text messages, whatever, and I was looking you up and saw the fact that you've actually got a kids line that's coming out. Now, I have my children, my oldest is 11, my youngest is 6. And growing up with their friends or whatever, talking about, oh, soda, or I drink Coke, or I drink whatever, and and apple juice, as in, pure, which is just pure sugar, which is not the healthy side. I mean, I've always diluted my daughter's apple juice ever since she started drinking juice. She's been a fruit fanatic from the beginning because that's how I started her off. In fact, a couple of women that I knew that had kids around the same age would always make fun of me and say, has your daughter ever eaten a cookie? I'm like, yes, she has eaten a cookie, but yes, I give her more fruit and vegetables than I do cookies and candy. So it's just, that's the way I am. So I loved hearing not only your story, but the fact that this is what you're all about. And you've got this kids line, which I cannot wait for it to come out, because I know my 6-year-old son, who really doesn't really drink juice, but he is a fan of fruit, and he just discovered mango. So I cannot wait for your juices to come out. Now, this is what particularly interests me, because you've been selling online most of the time. Obviously, you're on social media. You've had a lot of press, covering what it is that you're doing. And not just because it's what you're doing, but I think there's something about you and your heart and your spirit that kind of makes people want to either talk to you or want to promote you or want to buy your products. And also, of course, your products are great. So
thank you.
So you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. So tell me, you are now transitioning into having a bricks and mortar store in which town?
Sayville to start. We have other locations going moving forward, but we're starting with Sayville. So I'll tell you a little bit of background. How I kind of, one day I was talking to my mom and my dad, and my mom says, "You know why you like fruits and vegetables?" She's like, "Because you grew up with it." And I was like, "You're right." So growing up, my whole backyard inside of my parents' house, my mom had she had vegetables. She's from the South. I mean, we had fresh everything: cabbage, greens, potatoes. Like, I mean, my mom grew sweet potatoes, cucumbers. We actually had a cherry tree. One of you, we had a cherry tree. We had a fresh apple tree. My mom grew a maple tree. We had raspberry, blueberries. She grew. We had cucumbers. We had everything. So when we had fresh fruits and vegetables, we just went to the backyard and my mom taught us how to grow, how to pick, and how to cook. So that kind of was been my thing, me not realizing that, but my mom instilled it in us. So me doing this became natural, and I didn't even realize it. So I'm not good at a lot of things, but I'm good at what I do as far as making juices.
Oh, my darling.
My best friend, actually, my brother, it was funny, a couple of weeks ago, I had to my dad wasn't feeling well, so I made him something quick for his kidneys. And he was like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know. My friend's like, I don't know how it's going to taste. And he tastes, he's like, yo, that's pretty good. But I have a thing for it. I never Googled anyone's recipes. I don't care what anybody else is doing as far as their recipes. I took a couple classes through Cornell University to learn about botulism, aging of fruit, how it affects my product. I also was able to realize something simple. When I cut a lot of my fruits and vegetables, and I have it in the store, I have blue lights, ultraviolet lighting, because a lot of the bacteria is on the outside of the skin. So when you use a knife, you bring it to the inside of the fruit, and that's what get people sick. So if you just keep under ultra lighting, like same thing. So in my store, we're gonna have ultra lighting in the ceiling. So at nighttime, during the daytime, we turn off the regular lights, turn that on. That kills any bacteria, COVID-19, anything that's on the surface, it will kill. So these are little things that I learned. Yeah, you can do in your house. Doing simple things like just giving your fruits and vegetable, vinegar and water bath. Little things like that you can do to help keep safe, especially now amongst COVID. So I'm trying to, with the brick and mortar, we're going to do things like that. I have a fresh oxygen machine going in. So when you walk in, it's going to be fresh oxygen like in the casinos in my stores. Um, you can make fresh fruits. Whatever I have in bottles, you won't be able to buy off the menu. You'll have to buy in the bottle because I'm not going to compete with myself in that aspect. From a business standpoint, would make sense. But we're going to have fresh acai bowls, vegan meals. I teamed up with my guys over at Swole House. They're going to provide meals for me. I have another young black entrepreneur. She makes chicken and waffles that is insane. Like you cannot tell it's not real chicken. So I'm going to have a dope menu in my store. It's going to be a vibe. Like I'm creating an energy, a vibe. You know, even if you don't feel well, those few minutes you're in my store, you'll feel all right. So.
And I'm thinking that, to follow their, first of all, with their beautiful juice and their wonderful meal of chicken and waffles or whatever the meal is going to be, they follow it up with a fantastic ginger tea provided by me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's do it. I told you, let's do it. I got space in the fridge.
I need to get a sample to you. I want to get a bottle to you. So you need. Are you a fan of ginger?
Absolutely. Now, listen. I'm hard. I'm a hard critic. So
I need to hear it. I trust your opinion more than like one of my best friends or my mummies that I've known for like 6 years, because they're gonna like you said to me already, and I know that's the case. They're gonna just say, "Oh, Lorenzo, that's so great. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I want to hear from someone who not only has the taste buds for the healthy stuff, but is also doing what you're doing in a healthy way and making it successful. So I definitely want to hear what your thoughts are and what your opinions are. And I definitely want to be working with you.
I think the biggest mistake a lot of entrepreneurs make, because and I spoke before and I said, people think just because they make a cookie and their friends tell them it's good, doesn't mean other people in the world's gonna believe it's good. So what I did was I told myself, if I could accumulate a certain amount of new customers per week, then I would take my business serious. Because the person coming from St. James or coming from Brooklyn or wherever the case may be, they have no ties to me. They only come there for my product. So if they continually want a product, then I know I have something to sell. Right. So I always let the people decide what my next line of juices or product will be. And I let the people decide, because ultimately the consumer is the one that's going to be purchasing it. So there's even certain juices that I have made that I don't like, but people are like, no, that has to go. So I would never tell anybody which ones they are, but there's certain ones that I'm not a fan of. But I listen to the people.
Because you're smart. You're smart enough to listen to the people. And there's no ego. It's about like, okay, what do the people want? That's what I will provide. The umbrella is juices, and there are many things to make juices with. So there are many formulas, many concoctions that you can come up with. People just need you to come up with them so that they can buy them from you already made and not have to do the work themselves. If it's already done for them and it's fresh and it's good for them, fantastic. We are at an age, which I think you said in an interview, people aren't really buying sodas and whatever like they used to. We're trying to live a healthier life, or at least a more balanced life. And
a lot of people don't understand that. I tell people to just stay in your lane. Like if you do something good or great, just stay there. You don't have to worry about, like, people ask me all the time, who's my competition? I don't know. Nor do I care. They're not me. You understand what I'm saying? Like when you go to the grocery store, you see 7 different brands of jelly, 7 different brands of bacon, 7 different brands of bread. They're all on the same shelf and they all sell out. Right? So I don't care what the next person's doing. I'm not here to be friends with the other juice companies. There's a few companies I do like that I'm cool with, but at the end of the day, I am the bar. Right? Like level up. I'm not here to play nice with other juice companies and make friends. I don't care about you. And I mean that in the most respectful way. If you have like you and I told, you have a product that I rock with, let's get some money. But if I'm not here just to be here and tap people on the shoulder and tell me, oh, good job, they'll stay home for that. Because my staff, I have cancer patients that works in my store that have real life experience. They're not playing. They trying to stay alive. They beat cancer. This is not for play. I have people that come in, and my dad has Parkinson's. I have people that come in with their parents with Parkinson's, or their daughter is on a permanent trachea, or their kid has an ailment. They're not coming in the store to play. They're coming in my store to live. So I tell people all the time, if you want to make a product just to make money, you're not going to last long. You know,
that's what I love, because that makes the most sense to me, because this interview is not about me, but just some insight. Like for me, I've been making my tea from, I think I started making it because of morning sickness when I was pregnant with my son, and boiling ginger. Okay, all right, so let's use it to make some tea. And I've been doing that for all this time. I've added certain ingredients now, all to kind of boost the immune system, but really it wasn't specifically for that. It was just for the flavor of it. And it just so happens that it's stuff that has kept me healthy. Like I haven't had a cold in 7 years, and I hadn't even realized that until I was talking to my girlfriend in England, like this, it literally since Christmas, chatting with her, knowing that, okay, I'm going to try and put this on the market. So when you're doing something because it's actually part of your life and it's a natural thing for you, and it's the most authentic thing, that's when it actually does work, and that's when it does affect other people. Like you say, people are coming in, or you're working for you, they have real life issues, and if they don't have the energy or whatever it is to make their own juices, or to go and find out what concoctions to put together, you're doing it for them, and you're doing it for everyone and our kids. So, okay, so talking about kids, because I don't want to keep you all night.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question now.
Yes.
All right. So I want to know what type of ginger you use and why, and what's the difference?
I have no idea what it's called. I just know it's ginger root. It's properly like I'm going to actually figure out if I can grow, because there's a woman in England I was looking at who grows her own. It's not going to be a big amount, obviously, but I just like the idea of growing stuff in my own garden the way that your mother did. So it's ginger root, and I don't favor the ginger teas that like in the tea bag, or even the crystals or whatever, because they're too sweet. I liked the idea of going with what you would use to make sushi or stir fry, whatever. You'd get the ginger root, you'd slice it up. I mean, put it in the wok.
So I'll tell you this. So I use Peruvian ginger over Chinese ginger.
Talk to me about that, because I don't even know the difference between them.
Nope, you got to figure that out.
Okay, I'm going to googly schmoogly, as I say to my husband.
So there's a difference between Peruvian. Okay. There's different gingers out there, and Chinese ginger. So you should know what type of ginger you're using and why, because it'll affect the taste.
Okay. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now let's just say, for example, if you use one type of ginger A, you might have to use 2 roots because you want it to be a certain level of spice. As opposed, if you use ginger B, you can use a half a root because it'll give you what you want, and now you can make more and spend less money.
All right. I love that. I was kind of having a similar conversation in my head, just about one of the other ingredients that I would normally use when my children are not feeling well, or when one of us aren't feeling well. And I've started putting it in the batch when I just make a batch, and it's just in there. It's not for sweetening. It's just for the fact that it is such a huge immune booster. And the lady at Sherry's was like, well, yeah, think about whether you want to add it, because people don't necessarily know that you buy it off the shelf for like $45. They might not know that, and they might not care, or they might be like, wow, that's in there. Okay, this shit must be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you got to figure that out, because also too, as an entrepreneur, if you want to scale your company, you have to make money.
Yes.
Right. So in order to sit on shelves, you have to make it so. Like I just got a big order now from a company. And they're like, listen, I gave them 100 juices just to try out. And they said, yeah, we need to triple that. And literally half an hour before I told you, it is, we need to triple that. Let's go. So what I'm saying to you as an entrepreneur, know your details, know why.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, and then you can figure out, all right, how much is it going to cost me? Look at the colors that fit well with what you're doing. So there's a certain color that people equate to health. There's a certain font that people will equate to what you're doing. What is it? Can you own the name ginger root beer or stuff like that? So you got to figure all that out. and equate that into what you're doing. Because if you want to scale and go into the big stores and get it worldwide, then you have to know all this. Like I could tell you my pallet height. I could tell you how much my boxes weigh. I could tell you how high you could stack my boxes. I could tell you the weight that it can contain. I tell you exactly how much my bottle is filled to. For instance, with the Department of Transportation, if I say that my bottles are 12 ounces, let's say they're doing a delivery on a truck and they pull my truck over, they will take the bottles out and weigh them. And if they're not up to where they're supposed to be, I get fined $100,000
Wow.
per case.
Wow.
So these are the details that people, you have to know. So if somebody came and took my business tomorrow, I'll build it back in a day.
Yes. Because it's all the knowledge that you already have in here or documented or whatever.
Because you think about this, you think about if Coca-Cola comes in and buy me and they say, listen, you can't do anything juice related within the 200 square mile of this. There's a reason why they say that. Yeah. Because it's here.
Yeah.
So it's things like that that you need to, as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to understand, know your why. And I told you this, you think you have a product for sale, but you don't know yet. So give yourself some time. There's no rush to this.
That's as someone born with very little patience, that's hard for me to hear, even though I am, since COVID, since becoming a parent, I've had to practice patience.
Absolutely.
But certainly, having sat on it for all this time, and then this year going, okay, let me do something with it. It's like, okay, don't rush into it. You gave me the first one. In fact, I think Sal first spoke to me, and then you then solidified everything. It's like, okay, don't rush into this. It's, if you're going to do it, you have to do it right. And you don't need to try and go big right away. Do it right. Take it step by step by step. So you are a family man. You are a husband. You say wifey, which I love. And you have children. Is that right?
No kids, 2 dogs.
Oh, those are kids.
Yes.
Okay. So how are you balancing being, sort of now the I'm going to say mogul, but mogul to be, and you have plans, lots of plans. You said already, you're opening your first bricks and mortar store for now. This is for starters, right? So you have plans to kind of take over at least Long Island and then head beyond that, which I love. The planning and the foresight and seeing it all. How does that work with married life? How does that work with you being, very close to your parents as well? And just kind of, how are you balancing all of that?
Balance and support, people understanding, space, and just truthfully, you have to separate state from church. So you have to give each person respective time, but quality time, even if it's 10 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? And everybody sees the bigger picture of what I'm doing. They know I'm doing this for them, and they're with me on the ride. They know it's not just for me. I'm not just here to make a couple bands, but I'm doing this for them. I have a purpose. So you spend time with them and you support them in their endeavors, So I'm from a family of hustlers. I'm from a family of entrepreneurs. My brother's successful. Wifey, she's successful. She's the only Black-owned invitation company on Long Island. She's getting ready to open up her second location. So she started out the house also. So it's,
what's the name of her company? I would love to put what's the name of the company?
The Stationary Bar.
Yeah, the Stationary Bar. What a wonderful. Yes.
It's a lot of work, but you make it work.
You do. And I mean, is it more fulfilling knowing that you are helping other people? Like it's not just about you, but you are actually aiding people who have ailments or people that are striving to be healthier and get healthier. Does it sort of help you emotionally, mentally, or is it just like, it's a business?
It's not no, it's not about the money. That's what it's for. I mean, I making money's easy. It sounds crazy, especially to a struggling entrepreneur. Money comes. People throw money at me all the time. Like you don't understand. Like people, I recently turned down a $3 million deal. I didn't like them. Yeah. It's not.
Can you throw it my way, please? Can you throw it my way? I could do with that. I got to get my scheduled process test and whatever. I got to go buy my bottles.
But you don't need that. That's the worst thing you can do is take money. You don't have a plan for $3 million.
Yeah.
You don't even have a plan for $50,000. So I
No.
tell people all the time, money doesn't solve your problems. You have to figure it out. My mentor told me the best thing I did was never take money. I figured it out. Now I have a plan for $3 million, but I have to remember you comes responsibility. You have to pay that money back
Yes.
on a
With
product
interest.
that's not proven. Yes.
Right. Right.
Then what? Because what if then, for instance, for people don't. All right, I'll tell you this quick as an entrepreneur. So an investment like that, they want you to take out an insurance policy for that money. If you die, they get paid back. So it's things like that that people don't know and people don't understand that you have to know as an entrepreneur. You don't need money, and you specifically, you don't need money. You'll figure it out. You struggle. You need to struggle. You need to feel the pain. You need to wonder how am I going to make it. You need to feel that knot in your stomach. You need to feel like I'm going to fail. You need to feel that 1,000 times, but you won't fail. You need to figure all that out. You need to figure out how to juggle being a mom and running a business. You need to miss some birthdays. You need to miss some vacations. You need to miss going over to England to see your family. You need to miss, weddings and parties. You need to feel out to be an entrepreneur. But once you got it, you got it. That's the struggle. And once you figure that out, it doesn't matter because who you're doing it for and what you're doing it for is always your why. Your kids, your husband, your family, that's your why. So if their life depends on would you quit? What's more important, going on vacation or taking care of your family?
Always
There it
family.
is.
Always.
So there it
Always.
is. So
Yeah.
so you don't need money, you need your why.
I think that's a good place to end this conversation, Six. You are so wise, and I thank your parents. I'm going to say I thank your mummy in particular, because for me, mummies are they are close to my heart. My own mummy was a queen in my life and directed my steps, supported and gave me lots of wisdom, and just, was an exemplary figure despite coming from abuse and all that kind of stuff. She rose like a phoenix, and, traditional African woman to say, no, I'm not sticking with whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. My children
Absolutely.
are their own humans, and they're smart, and they're going to make the right choices. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
you. I appreciate you offering me all the guidance that you have done thus far. I'm just letting you know that I am hanging on to you. I don't have any
I
nails at the
got you.
moment, but
I got you. No
I'm
problem.
here. I'm here to stay. All right.
Got you. We'll talk soon. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Six. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you
Have
for
an
having me.
incredible weekend. Enjoy
You
the rest of
too.
your week, and we'll talk so that I can come and
Next week.
see you and hand you some of my juice.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you, darling. Thank you
All right,
again
take
for
care.
tuning in to Living Out Loud with Loretta. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with a friend or several friends. Post a screenshot of this episode on your Instagram stories and tag me at Loretta Nakwacha. You can also watch this episode with a cold beverage on my YouTube channel. The link is posted below. Lastly, if you have the time, please leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts so that we can continue sharing stories, singing songs, and living our lives really out loud.